Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Flash Fiction Force. I'm your host, ACP Nate. Today's episode is titled Maintenance by Nate Listrom. The early morning rain woke Jiro a few minutes before his alarm. It trickled in little rivers down the large, single-pane window of his 19th-story apartment. Jiro watched contentedly from his bed. Across the room, the little coffee maker next to the fish tank was just beginning to burble its way to life. Jiro sighed. It was going to be a good day. At precisely 6:30, he rose, stretched, and crossed the room. His tiny red and blue dwarf gourami, Henry, swam up to greet him. Jiro nodded pleasantly to his little fish. He carefully measured out Henry's breakfast, a combination of algae-based pellets and brine shrimp. Animals were good companions. Not like people. People were messy. They could embarrass you. In fact, that was why Jiro chose Arigato Tower. It had all the amenities, including delivery of anything you could ever need. Jiro hadn't needed to spoke to another human in nearly 11 months. For that long, life had been in a perfect balance. The coffee was almost done. Jiro went to the bathroom to freshen up. He flipped on the light and glanced at the reflection in the mirror. Then something brushed his leg. Jiro jumped. His eyes shot down, searching for a rodent or insect. But it wasn't a pest. It was water, a tiny jet sprinkling onto the floor. Jiro frowned and dropped down, squatting so he could see under the sink. Sure enough, there was a leak. Reflexively, Jiro grabbed for a knob to close the shutoff valve, but then he realized that wouldn't work. The leak was on the wrong side of the valve. Not good. Jiro stood up, scratching his head. What to do? A small puddle was forming on the tiles. He grabbed his bath towel from the hook and threw it onto the floor. That helped for a minute. He retreated, closed the door behind him, leaned back against it, and began to think. The coffee was ready. Retreating to the familiar routine for a moment, Jiro carefully poured a cup exactly 3/4 full. Ritual complete. He sat down and considered his situation. Could he patch the leak himself? He'd watched enough home repair videos to give it a decent attempt, at least. First, he'd need to turn off the apartment's water supply. Jiro grabbed his tablet. For a few minutes, he poked around the web, searching the Arigato Tower's building plans. There was a diagram identifying the main shutoff for the whole building, but Jiro was pretty sure that would require people. Or was the leak small enough that it didn't need to be fixed? Could he just keep putting towels under it? Toss the old ones in the little laundry unit's clothing dryer? As if in answer, a bead of water appeared under the bathroom door and trickled into the room. Jiro made a face. Reluctantly, slowly, he acknowledged. He was out of options. He pulled up the Arigato Tower's maintenance portal and found the form to submit a ticket. But beside it was a message. If this is a plumbing or electrical emergency, do not file a ticket. Instead, please call the emergency maintenance line. Jiro glanced at his phone. Suddenly, his heart began pounding. He looked at the number on the web page and gulped. Why was it so hard to breathe? Hand shaking, Jiro picked up the phone. His fingers fumbled on the digits. He had to try 3 times before he typed the correct number. For a long moment, he sat motionless, staring at the screen. Then, before he could think better of it, he tapped the call button. On the other end, the phone picked up immediately. Jiro froze. But it was an automated system. Leave a message. Jiro closed his eyes in relief. When the beep came, Jiro's brain refused to work. His words came out hurried and tangled. He tried to go back and clarify, but that only made things worse. Then the phone beeped. He'd run out of recording time. He sat for a moment, mortified, uncertain about what to do. Should he call back? Apologize for the earlier message? Somehow undo the damage? The phone buzzed. Bzzz. Text message. Repair tech on the way. Jiro took another gulp. He stood, paced, and then sat back down. He bounced his knees restlessly. He took a sip of coffee and made a face. It was cold. He glared at the pool, still slowly stretching like a greedy hand across the floor. He hated water now. Then came the noise he'd feared and avoided for nearly a year. A knock, and then a voice. "Maintenance!" Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Flash Fiction Force. Once again, I'm your host, ACP Nate. If you're an indie writer or artist and you want to get your art on the show, hop on the Discord and let me know. Until then, take care and stay creative, friends.